Well, hello there. My name is Dave Bila. I want to welcome you to this new edition of News and Views broadcast by Access LaPorte County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Opinions are the views and the responsibilities of those making comments and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of this program or its by co-producers. We will adhere to broadcast rules, but no one's, absolutely no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press will be either muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use of the accounts, descriptions, and event of this program without the express written consent of schmo or schmo, strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoyed the program, the discussion, and the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, I got up about 5:30 this morning, and a little bit before 7 o'clock, I hear sirens going like a bat out of you-know-what past my house, not just driving casually at the end of the shift, but really driving under some persuading issue. And it turned out that an individual basically shot a Michigan City Sheriff's deputy at the Franciscan Hospital. Now, I've been talking about metal detectors for a long time. And when Kevin McGuire from Michigan City area schools went to the Redevelopment Commission requesting funds in order to purchase metal detectors, he was turned down by Schuyler York. And Schuyler York specifically, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but in 3 years we might take it under consideration. Okay, now that's the Michigan City area schools. Now we've got other entities within the community that relate to people. Some people get sick. Some people have to go through the emergency room. And lo and behold, at the emergency room that I went to in order to take care of my problems, I didn't go through a metal detector at the hospital. You would think that a multi-million-dollar corporation, of which Franciscan consists of, would have metal detectors available. 25 years ago, this is my son told me, 25 years ago in Michigan City High School, they didn't have metal detectors, but they had wands that they could wand the individuals. I asked my son, any idea whatever happened to the wands? No idea. Well, we have a situation here that has been boiling and boiling, and well, it's been simmering for a while. And now we've got teenagers shooting teenagers. We've got entities within the city shooting policemen. It seems to me as if something is getting out of control in this town. And just maybe, if the Michigan City Police Department's not capable of handling the situation, let's call in the state police. Because there is a situation out there that is brewing that may affect these tourists coming into town and may have them have a second thought as to, I'm not going there. Just like that lady that I talked to at the park department when I obtained my parking sticker. She says she's afraid to go down to Washington Park to see a sunset with her mom. Something is brewing out there, and it's not hard to put your finger on it. And when you have 46% of the population of the community living at or below the poverty level, and maybe a portion of that 46%, I believe 26%, are living off the trough, living off of handouts, basic subsistence, we've got a problem out there that needs to be resolved. And in my mind, I have to come back to the military discipline that was subjected to me when I was in the military needs to be reinstalled. The fear of doing something wrong needs to be the foot down. A foot has to be put down on that concept, because you've got people doing their own thing, whether it's drug related or whether again, we've got a problem out there. And again, there are good people in this community. 51% of the good people that deserves deserves a peaceful standard of living. Memorial Day is coming up Monday. We've got veterans who fought for that opportunity and lost their lives for our community as well as the entire United States. And it seems like that effort that the veterans put forth right now are going for naught. Tony?
Well, there are lots going on. When we left, we tape on Friday, and when we left Friday, there was a shooting at 11th and Wabash.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what all those police, because they had police rolling whatever, 100 mile an hour down Johnson, the boulevard, everyone was going that way. And yes, we have something going on, and I want to lead with what we talked about last week. So what good are all these flock cameras and shot spotters doing? Again, I think that money should be spent on police pay raises and more police officers. Because these people obviously have no remorse about doing things where there might be a shot spotter or a camera. Doesn't seem to bother them one bit. But boy, if there's a police car there, I think they'd think twice. And I truly believe that police cars in neighborhoods, police cars driving down the roads, police presence really helps a lot. Now, what if the shooting happened at the hospital and the sheriff's deputy? Again, that was probably not good that it happened, but we had a sheriff's deputy there. Probably stop that from escalating any further. We do not need. Now, I don't know how far we go. It's sad. I was going to say it's sad that you have to say that we need metal detectors in churches. Or no, in hospitals. What's next? Churches? Is that where we're going? Is that the freedom of America we are going to? It's a sad, sad state. But there are very few people doing this. And I believe the Michigan City Police have very good officers. They know, I can guarantee you, they know who the people are doing this. And there are probably just not enough of them to keep tabs on them. There's only very few people. Like when we live, when I lived way out in the country, car come down the road, way out in LaPorte County. We knew whose car was coming down. And I lived in Michigan City, in my neighborhood, I knew which cars were there and which cars weren't supposed to be there. You just know your neighborhood. And that's what I think our police officers do the best. They know which cars are there, good people. They know which cars are there, probably not doing anything good. And they need to be there. They need to ask those people, what are you doing here? What's going on? Because whatever's going on with Pine and the shootings we had, and thank goodness they got the shooter and some other people now from this 11th and Wabash. And we need, I hate that, I don't want to lose my freedom, but a proactive police force. Not that they stop and frisk, not that but they do know. They know what cars are coming and where they're coming from. Indiana has a huge problem, and we know what's going on between Illinois and Michigan with the legal drugs there coming illegally into Indiana. And our police force is being stretched thin with these illegal drugs in Indiana. And I thought, well, if I remember correctly, Illinois was suing the state of Indiana because they were saying the guns that were being bought in Indiana were doing crime in Illinois and Indiana should pay. You know what? Shoe's on the other foot now. Indiana should sue Illinois. Your drugs coming over here are causing our police officers to spend time instead of making our neighborhoods safe or making our beach safe or making Franklin Street safe. We have to spend time chasing around your illegal drugs coming in from your two states. And I'm very curious because I don't think that case is done yet. And I don't know, I haven't heard Illinois actually talking about that case anymore because I think they realize, be careful what you wish for. That's a sharp double-edged sword. If Illinois gets to sue Indiana, Indiana gets to sue Illinois. And we're all in this soup. But it's sad that we have to have sheriffs or police officers in the schools and at the hospital. It's sad that we have to have wands. And now here's the big one. Wait, what have we been talking about for months and months and months?
Years.
That the city turned down metal detectors in the schools.
And excuse me, I need to interrupt. The city didn't necessarily turn down metal detectors. One individual, Skylar York.
Well, he doesn't have a vote. But the people listened to him on the redevelopment commission.
That is correct. He basically wanted to kick the can down the road an additional 3 years. And he provides suggestions to the redevelopment commission.
He's their technical
So
advisor.
there are members on the redevelopment commission who just sit there. Clarence Holtz is interested in bringing in car washes and other low-end businesses to Michigan City. Sheila Brilson, a former mayor, who is also a teacher, should jump for joy to see the possibility of a metal
She
detector.
should have led the charge at that request that says, are you requesting this for metal detectors? I make a motion, we approve. That should have been it.
Yeah, right. And Denzel Wilson's daughter, who is a new one on the block, again, she has some state affiliation with economic development. But the fact of the matter is, it gets down to the human element. Forget the economic development of the community. When the human element isn't conducive with one another, and an entity within the community, the redevelopment commission, has the funds to be able to obtain metal detectors, and they kick it down the road. As I said earlier, the Michigan City area schools on a temporary basis right now has acquired a metal detector.
And where did they get that from?
You don't know, Tony?
I do not know.
It is on loan from the Michigan City, from the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department.
Thank you, Ron Heeg.
Ron Heeg loaned the Michigan City area schools a metal detector that the kids now have to traverse through. That literally SUCKS's with a gigantic exclamation point. Why does a community of 31,000 people have to go to the county sheriff to have a metal detector provided to them on a lend lease, maybe?
How much does the redevelopment have?
They have in excess right now in the bank of $14,500,000, and they have their June draw right around the corner, which is an additional roughly about $4.5 million coming. Ladies and gentlemen, you talk about dysfunction. You talk about dysfunction. You talk about people only looking at their own little domain and could care less about what's going on over here. Could care less what's going on over here. Could care about what's going on over here, but there's not enough manpower to man this. We've got a problem. And who is responsible to resolve that problem? The head of the community. It starts with the mayor's office. And if the mayor isn't strong enough, she has to call in some additional help to help try to quash these problems. And it goes back to a homeless problem. I just drove in on Franklin Street to the show today, and I seen a bus stop that was, there was about 6 or 7 people at that bus stop on Franklin and on Barker Ave. And they were just sitting there. I drove about 2 blocks down towards the South Shore station, and I saw 4 people with their handbags adjacent on the west side of the gates, adjacent to the new complex that they're building on 11th Street complex. Those people didn't look like they had a place to live. They didn't, and it sets an example. We talked about the beggars on the streets. I did notice, I did drive to Meyer today, and the beggars are gone for some reason. The panhandlers.
If we had enough officers, and I know they're stretched thin, if we had officers and community officers, I don't care, maybe they don't have to be full-time police officers, it could be community officers and we pay them a salary, to find out if these panhandlers are really just putting on a show and they're really living in a really nice house and they need help, or if these panhandlers are people that need help, and get them help. Because it's not acceptable on anyone's side to let them do it. I just checked, so the internet's a great thing. How much does a walk-through metal detector cost?
I have the biggest idea.
It says $1,500 to $7,500. So
Say that, wait. Say that again.
$1,500
$1,000?
minimum to $7,500. $7,000.
That's this device that,
Yeah, you walk through. A walk-through metal detector.
and Skylar York turned it down?
And I want to go back to the redevelopment commission, because supposedly, and you were there when we started all this. We were supposed to see a return on investment in our dollars.
Yes, sir.
And many people in redevelopment have, over time, have considered the return on investment not worth the investment for the school. And they have not found the money because they said they're invested in other things. What's that return on investment now? When we have Chicago news, Nation news, talking about shootings in Michigan City. What's that return on investment
Helicopters
now?
circling the hospital like flies.
That's what that helicopter was doing today. You see that helicopter this morning? I was wondering what that was.
There were 3 of them, I believe.
It's
I
sitting
saw
above the high school or the hospital.
Yeah.
What's that return on investment now? And I understand you didn't make the right choice. Now it's time to make the right choice. Next redevelopment commission, I would suspect one of those members should stand up and say, listen, we had a request in front of us for $600,000. I motion to approve. We have a request for police equipment. I motion to approve. That return on investment, we are way beyond that return on investment. That horse has left the barn. Because now we are on the news, and the mayor has to spend her time, which we talked about before, and get with the police and the school and to get together. And we need that. But now they have to make it a priority. Again, the leader of any corporation of the city needs to spend their time on activities and things that make the future better. If they have to spend their time chasing around shootings, panhandlers, cleaning, painting lines, then why do they have employees? We need the mayor to focus on the future and the leadership of our town. And that's what a corporate CEO does. Now we have to gather together because the news is really bad, because Michigan City has had shootings. And again, I'm going to go back to the police. There's no better people than the police. And if the firemen can help out, let them help out. We know who needs it. We know the troublemakers in town. We know. And if we can't keep tabs on them because we are stretched thin with other things, and redevelopment sitting on $14 million plus another draw, where's your return on investment?
Here is my briefcase. There's a lot of state law in there. There's a lot of TIF district law in there. Specifically, the state mandates if the school city requests funds.
I believe it is.
Kevin McGuire made that request 2 years ago, and Schuyler York kicked it down the road an additional 3 years. So now we got 5 years to possibly obtain consideration from Schuyler York and the Redevelopment Commission to obtain metal detectors.
And they might have had an argument, hate to say it, tangentially, with the solar project. But solar's gone. What are we saving our money for now? The reputation has already been sullied. If we're on the news, and I mean South Bend, Chicago, national news, we need to fix it. And everybody, and I'd say we as in everybody, the police, the citizens, the parents. And it's sad to keep saying the parents because they're working at minimum wage. They're working 2-3 jobs. And their kids, some of these, there's not many, some of these kids are doing stupid things. And they will always do stupid things. But we had, I guess, the fear, and Michigan City needs to have its police, or citizen police, whatever you want to call them, keeping tabs on the people that wish to come into town or the people in town that are causing trouble. And they can't control themselves. Whatever they're mad about, they go shoot somebody. I mean, is this retaliation? And we should know if it is, and if it isn't, I hope it's not random. We should know what led up to it and be able to stop it.
Yeah. In 2022 through 2025, the Redevelopment Commission took in $32,685,486.86. Now, how much did you say a metal detector cost?
$1,500 to $7,000.
Let's take the high end.
$7,000.
$7,000.
We're going to get the best one out there, which we should.
You would think, no, maybe not. Maybe not. Because, again, we've got inflation and we've got stupidity and we've got a whole bunch of other...
Wait, there's going to be administrative costs. So let me see.
Yeah,
7,000.
double it.
Times 2 because we have some administrative paperwork and some approval. 14,000 each. Because that's the way municipalities work.
Do you have a calculator?
Yeah.
At $14,000, and this is a ridiculous comment, But $32 million could buy how many metal detectors at $14,000 apiece?
Oh, we don't need to make light, but really?
The intelligence quotient of this community needs to be addressed, and we have people.
2,285 metal detectors.
You're kidding.
How many students are in Michigan City High School?
Around 1,200.
So double the number of students in Michigan City High School. What's sad, which I thought another sad thing that's coming out is, this might not just be the high school, folks. At a minimum, this might be junior high. We've seen things across this country and this world where kindergartners, first graders are pulling shenanigans that are very bad. So yes, we might make light of, we could buy 2,285, but maybe we need 20 of them, 30 of them. Maybe we need as a deterrent. And how can this community, I just hit me, how can this community and the redevelopment commission comes, the police, and God bless them, comes there and asks for money for flock cameras, but they don't see the need for metal detectors.
And
They
were
say the
granted-
flock cameras deter the crime and they solve crime. But we don't really see the need for metal detectors.
it-
Why don't we put a flock detector in the high school? Really?
there comes a time when this community has to take into consideration to being proactive rather than reactive pertaining to crime in this community. And I applaud what
Wait, at the beginning, they need to understand and come to grips with who the troublemakers are.
and if you happen to read the internet, some of the names that appear on who have been arrested or who have been involved in crimes have been repetitive names.
Oh, everyone knows who they are.
Everybody knows who they are, right? And so, what's the solution? Take a new attitude, City of Michigan City.
These individuals need help and guidance. Ignoring it, even though we know who it is, not working. And I am not stop and frisk, but boy, the police should know where these individuals are. If somehow these individuals met with somebody, say in Gary or Illinois, and were upset about somebody, and they were walking down 11th Street towards Wabash, and they knew somebody else was going, maybe we should have been there.
We've got individuals at the one, I believe, it was the last city council meeting. A young lady came up from the art district, talking about they know who this individual is who relieves himself. He's been caught 5 times, and yet he comes back and finds hallways to excrement. And he just relieves himself on property. And so, yeah, they arrest him, they let him go, and he comes back the next day when he has a bowel movement, and he finds the most convenient place. Maybe a solution, Redevelopment Commission, maybe a solution is put porta potties in the downtown arts district. A simple porta potty. Obviously, it's, you know, maybe you could color it up and put some flowers on it or something, or push it under a tree. But a simple porta potty could maybe help. What's wrong with that particular concept? At least to tell these individuals, you got a place to utilize the bathroom. You know, creative thinking.
Would you draw more people because they realize there's porta potties?
Well,
I don't know.
We got
It's
to
just
try.
not acceptable to let them be that way in
But
society.
we got to try something. We could put the porta potties in an invisible place, maybe in an alleyway, and maybe as the police walk up and down, they could hand out handbills to the degenerates out there to say, hey, you go to such and such location to relieve yourself.
We need somebody down there, and again, I don't know if it's a full-blown police officer, to be with these people and have them understand we're not just going to forget about you. We're not just going to walk by and ignore. We know you need help. What do you need? Where can you be? Because just down here and doing your activities is not going to happen. It's not part of the equation. We're not going to let it.
Yeah.
Where do you need to go?
What
We will
we're-
get
yeah.
you somewhere to a shelter. we'll get you somewhere. You know, you need to get cleaned up. You need mental health. What? Because, you know, every day, and this is going to be a hard task. Every day, that person, or whatever, our community advisor goes down there and like, hey, you know, Joe, here you again. What do you need? Because this is not acceptable. Our community is not going to let you do this. For you or for a community. Where can we bring you today? Where do you need to go? There's a shelter over there. We can get you a job. So I don't think we should need a porta potty. We can get you to somewhere that has something to clean up. And isn't there still something down on Midtown?
Well, the Keys to Hope provide.
We can get you somewhere.
But
every day.
But in order to get involved with the Keys to Hope, you have to be drug-free and alcohol-free. And a good portion of their clients who make an attempt to get the Keys to Hope, if they can't pass a drug test, the Keys to Hope will say, go on your merry way.
Yeah, and they should.
There has to be
but
somebody.
You can't just let somebody be there, you know, arrest them, let them come right back. Every day you got to be there. It's going to take work, hard work. And we should pay somebody for that. That somebody goes down there and says, listen, Sally, what are you doing here again today? You know, this is not good for you. It's not good for the community. What do you need? Because here with your stuff is not going to happen. That's not part of the equation. We're not going to let this happen. Where can you bring it? And maybe the people that choose to do this, which I see in other communities, let's say Valparaiso, guess what? It's not easy. There's the path of least resistance is for them to leave Michigan City and go somewhere where they let them live a horrible squalor life. And maybe they'll say, listen, I can't go to Michigan City because every day the community officer is going to come up and be with me every day, whatever it takes, and find out how to help me. But I don't want help, so I'm just not going to go to Michigan City anymore because I'm choosing I don't want help, and I don't want them to try to help me because I don't want that. And maybe they won't be here anymore. But just letting them and ignoring them and walking by them is never going to solve the problem.
You know, this is an obscene comment on behalf of me, but we have garbage trucks traversing the city streets, picking up people's garbage. Maybe the police department, if they have a paddy wagon, they could follow the various city streets, and when they find a homeless person and say, well, you appear to be homeless, let me provide you a ride. And if that individual refuses the ride from the police department, well, then you violated a police order. We're going to take you someplace. Maybe
they do that in other communities, and do that to other communities. I'm not going to say names. Do that to Michigan City and South Bend. They provide them a ride here, drop them off, and drive away.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can provide them a ride back.
That's not right. Yeah, I mean, they're looking for the path of least resistance, and maybe they like living that. We just don't understand that. They like that. That's the life they live. And you can see this in every community across America, other than some communities that take care of it and don't allow it. You go to any community, you go to Las Vegas, you get off the strip, you're going to see it there. Yep. You go to LA, you go to San Diego, San Francisco, go anywhere, you're going to see it because they allow it. They would rather turn a blind eye, don't take the effort or the money to fix it because, you know, we got more important things to do. We're back to return on investment. There's no return on investment to try to help somebody and get them either to decide to do something different or not. There's more return on it. And when I go back to police every time, we need more police. We need what are community officers, whatever you want to call them. We've got high rises going up, and it's not going to get any better. And I think even the mayor was smart enough to say, listen, I've got a lot of development coming in my town. I'm going to need a lot more help. And she wasn't just talking about permits and inspections. She knows police, fire, community services. You know, just because you think you've got, and it's good, we got these high rises coming in, there's a cost of community service. And you can look at any planner, they will give you a cost of community service. When something comes in, how much does it cost you to maintain?
We had a couple months ago a fire behind Wendy's that was started adjacent to the dumpsters. Excuse me.
You had a fire in JCPenney because people broke in there and started a fire.
There's still people. You go past Market Mall office building, and where they used to have panes of glass all the way through, what you now see is an occasional pane of glass and a whole bunch of plywood tacked up over the windows.
They tried to break in 24 hours a day to any building to try to live.
Yeah.
And somehow the community as to make sure that they are there so they understand this is not acceptable. And we're not just going to turn a blind eye. We are going to, you break in, we're going to come in, we're like, we're not going to, no good to arrest you, put you in jail.
Here's a question. Who owns the Marquette Mall office complex?
Ton and blank.
Ton and Blank. Who owns Ton and Blank?
The sisters, St. Anthony.
Well, maybe if the sisters consent to buying new metal detectors for the hospital complex south of town, maybe the nuns could fork up some money so that you have a car patrolling the Marquette Mall office building.
Oh, they do. They don't. I don't know if they pay for it, but there is a car that patrols constantly. The
Well, right,
Marquette
yeah,
Mall.
there's a lot of cars being parked down by the theater, but those are workers.
No, but whether you realize there is a security officer always around the mall because they're constantly stopping people from breaking in and trying to live inside the mall. All day, all night. It goes on and on and on. And they've been doing that since the mall was closed.
Really?
But I don't know. I don't want metal detectors in the hospital. If I have to go to the hospital, I want to walk through a metal detector for, really? That's where we are in society? We have to walk through a metal detector at the hospital?
Well, when I
gosh.
went to the emergency room, again, I
And
didn't.
you can't do it then because they're in an emergency. We're going to say, stop, go through the metal detector before you have an emergency.
Yeah, I didn't go through anything. I just walked in and reported and sat down, and then I was admitted. But I believe that if you take the blinders off yourself and see what's going on in this community, one of the things that we do not have is a newspaper to explain. There was the shooting on last week on
Lubbock and Wabash.
yeah. I was leaving. I just bypassed the shooting by a matter of about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay? That issue was not brought to light through the media until...
Not local media.
Not local media. It wasn't brought to light at all until a report was given by the Michigan City Police Department 4 or 5 days after the shooting. Forker made a report. I was at the city council meeting that Tuesday when he made a report speaking on behalf of the mayor, when he made a report pertaining to an arrest was made on that incident. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 4 days later, it's brought to the attention of the public.
And that's the beauty of the internet we have, because if I hear an article or something happen, I go to the internet. And it's not just Michigan City, it's every media, every major media. They purposely don't report, for what reason, I don't know, liability, what's really going on. They don't say the names, they don't say who it is. But boy, we all know it, right? It's on the internet, social media or somewhere. I'm not on social media, but it comes out in the comments or somebody. People tell us what's really going on. And I think that if we knew, we would be better off instead of, I hate to say it, the media coddling us because we can't handle the truth. Really? Tell us who it is. Tell us what happened. Don't hide anything.
But again, we can't do that because he might be innocent until proven guilty in the court of law.
I'll say that.
They'll say that.
The media says that. The internet says it.
Yeah.
This person is, but this is a person of interest. And then people on the comment section of social media tell you where this person's been hanging out and what trouble they did and how many times they got in trouble and how many times they've been in jail and what they've done before. And to us, it seems, wow, it's pretty obvious. This person was out to commit trouble. There was no rocket science here. Not hard. But the media won't tell you any of that. And I understand politically you don't want to go out and say that because then major media are going to pull it up on the news and say, oh, the mayor came out or city council came out and says, we have a problem with shootings in town. No, they don't want that.
Now, I don't want to bring the total issue out, but there was a comment that I read on behalf of, from a brochure that the Michigan City Sanitary District put out.
Wait, and that brochure, I know, but that brochure you got from the sanitary district.
Yes.
And why, and I'm not sure, and I'll look, why isn't that posted on the sanitary district website? Shouldn't this stuff, it's a very pretty brochure, and if you see it, it's really gorgeous. I don't know how much money money they spent on, or labor, hourly labor they spent on it to show how, I mean, if you have to show how well you're doing, you're probably not doing it. If you're going to take your time to make a pretty report, how great you are, probably things aren't so great.
Well, I just want to bring up an issue relating to MS4, and obviously you don't know what MS4 is, but it pertains to stormwater.
Stormwater quality.
Correct.
Not quantity.
Right.
Quality.
The MS4 concept that the sanitary district subscribes to
They have to, by federal law.
by federal law, implemented a chart of 6 minimum things that must be done in order to obtain the status of an MS4 contributor, so to speak. Number 2 on the list is the operator shall develop from this MS4 that includes provisions to allow opportunities for constituents within the MS4 area to participate in stormwater management programs, develop and implement an implementation. An MS4 operator shall ensure via documented efforts that the sufficient opportunities for allotting to involve all constituents interested in participating in a program process to meet this measure. All right.
So if you have a workshop, the public should be involved.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the dysfunctional community that we live in. If you see something, say something. Now, this pertains to the sanitary district and one specific issue in a stormwater. You could take that same concept, a sufficient opportunity that allotted to involve all constituents. That's the entire Michigan City. Interested in participating in the program's process to meet this measure. It appears to me as if the residents of Michigan City are oblivious to what's going on.
It's easy to be oblivious, right?
See? And so this will continue to fester and fester and fester until we obtain community involvement that everybody, not to say, again, if you throw a cigarette butt on the street, I'm not going to chastise you, but maybe I'll go step on it and put it out.
It's sad to say.
But this is the point that we're at right now.
I'm old enough and you're old enough to understand what happens in Michigan City. We've seen some very bad times in Michigan City.
We have.
We've seen all-out riots. Made national news a couple times in different decades because we didn't pay attention. Because we didn't take a new attitude. We let it
Where did
fester.
you get that statement? You're violating my
Copyright.
my copyright laws by using that
As we
statement.
turned a blind eye, and
There it is, people.
we and I applaud the mayor and everyone to get together to try to but boy, put your efforts in the right area. And we know who the troublemakers are. It's probably not many. We know the people driving into town probably shouldn't be here. I don't care what plates they are, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, I don't care. We know who those people are coming in here causing trouble. And they ought to be told you're not welcome. We don't want that. If you don't want to come here and enjoy Michigan City, come on down. If you want to come here and cause trouble, and whatever trouble you want to cause, please don't. Please go away. We don't make it easy for them. And again, we go back. Flock cameras and shot spotters don't do that. People do that. Whatever you want to call them. The police officers, they're busy. It takes a hard time to be a police officer. Community enforcement, I don't know. Yes, maybe. I'm sure there's people that would be willing to get paid part-time job to find out and keep tabs on the people that want to cause trouble. Want to come in here and shoot people and strong-arm people.
Temporarily deputize
Our nation has a long history of temporary deputizing people, citizens.
correct.
This is not new. Most of our police force in our nation, in the vast majority of the time, were deputies. Now, we don't think that's important. And we got a summer season coming up. Beautiful beach, great times, great holidays. And we know again, going back, the return on investment, we know why they're concerned. Summer's here. We're on the precipice of the summer and we do not need this. But we got to make sure that people want to come here, you're welcome. People want to come and cause trouble, you're not welcome.
And again, just looking at the individual's license plates will determine whether out-of-state people, I have seen,
Well, we enjoy some good out-of-state people, spend some good money here.
but I have seen individuals, certain license plates, they're within an arm's distance of the state of Indiana, who drive like a bat out of hell. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour. But because they want to move from this place to this place to get to a stoplight that is red, that I get to at the same pace, but I don't have to weave in and out of traffic. You've got some individuals out there who want to get someplace quickly, but there's a reason why those stoplights turn red every once in a while. That's to control the traffic flow. But these people who dodge in and out,
Some of those people, and I can tell you, I'm going to call it the marijuana motorway. They're getting off of 94, bopping down the Boulevard 20, getting on 212, rushing over to the first marijuana place in Michigan, jumping back on 212 is bad out of hell, getting down 94 and get back to Illinois. And you know who these cars are. We all know who these cars are. They stink to high heaven. If you could smell these people a half a mile away in your car, you got a problem. Indiana has, I'm going to call it the marijuana motorway going on. And Michigan City is bearing the brunt of Highway 212. And that's Michigan City police officers. LaPorte County Sheriff. They could sit an officer out there 24 hours a day and pull someone over every 10 minutes. And we're just not putting up with it. Maybe we send a bill to Illinois and send a bill to Michigan. Hey, if I got to hire another officer or 5 officers to police the illegal drugs cutting through my state, you're paying. Because we don't accept this. It's not something we are going to accept. You can, whatever, if you want to get on 90, they're cutting through Michigan City because they don't want to get on 94 all the way down there in Michigan, because then you have to run up through Michigan, New Buffalo, up 39. I don't know why. Maybe they think the state police are waiting for them on 94 instead of getting off right there and going to one of those dispensaries right there, 94. But I can tell you, and I know the police know, they all know. And these people aren't doing 55, 60 mile an hour. They're doing 70 mile an hour on Highway 212. Windows open, marijuana smoke coming out. It's pretty obvious what they're doing. But we don't have enough officers. We don't have, then that's why, we talked about last week. That's why the kids went over to the Pines in Porter County, because they know there's not very many Porter County sheriffs over there. That's why they went over there. Again, the presence is the greatest deterrent we can ever have.
And again, we have to put a little blame on the media right now, because if you turn on your TV set and you watch various stations, the gas price is $5, $6 a gallon. That's going to limit the traveling. It's not going to limit the traveling. You look at the traffic flow on Franklin Street right now, and it's row to row, 5 or 6 to 10, 15 cars deep at various stop signs. The price of gas isn't going to prohibit the people to drive, to traverse the town.
I think it's going to reverse. It's going to more people in Michigan City, because they don't have the money to fly on airplanes who can't afford the airplane gas and those costs to Orlando or Las Vegas or go see their relatives. They call them staycations. They're going to stay close. Michigan City will probably see more people.
Now, today, Memorial Day, is observed Monday, May 25th, 2026. It's a federal holiday honoring U.S. military personnel who died in service. The three-day weekend also marks the unofficial start of summer. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously you may be home watching, this is Saturday morning, but we're taping Friday night, and the traffic on Franklin Street is outrageous right now. And you've got these idiots swerving in and out.
They're more important than everyone. You need to get out of the way.
There was, as I was driving here on Franklin Street, again, maybe the motorcycle community might not like my comments, but there was an individual on a side street. Again, he saw enough, because of the speed of his motorcycle, he saw enough space between where I was to get into Michigan City and to swerve from lane to lane.
He just thought you were his friend.
to get to 11th Street, where the new 11th Street Franklin concept is being built, and then he went over the tracks and he stopped and he proceeded to go into the art district. But that was the same area that he passed that I saw these individuals by the 11th Street tracks dressed like homeless. And when I leave, I'll guarantee you, when I go south on Franklin Street, I'll pass the Salvation Army building, and you will see people lounging in front of those steps at the Salvation Army.
Maybe Salvation Army does a great job. Maybe we need to get them more help. Maybe they could be the head of these community officers and get these people the help they need. Because just ignoring them is not going to do one bit of good, and they're not going away. If you think they're just going to vanish away, they're not going away.
But it's a fine line between enabling and providing people a hand up, because individuals who have been enabled with a hand up, when they find out that enabler isn't going to help them out anymore, they revert back to what they know. And that's, hey, you got a buck? Loan me a buck. When I was at Knapp School, at a function at Knapp School, we were walking out of the, my grandson, my two grandsons, the Bela boys, played a concert at Knapp School for the kids. And when we were walking out of the auditorium, I saw a crumpled up piece of paper on the floor. And I bent over and picked it up and unfolded it, and it was $1. Now, I had a choice, okay, to put the $1 in my pocket and keep my mouth shut, or take that $1 and turn it into the principal's office. I turned that $1 into the principal's office. I told the secretary where I found it, because maybe somebody...
Probably somebody might have needed that
Somebody
$1.
might have needed that $1. There is a fine line between enabling and a handout that will get you nowhere. Tony?
We're in the summer season. Again, Michigan City is blessed with a beautiful beach. We have great holidays, and I understand completely. Everyone involved is very scared that this thing is festering and could get out of control. And it might. For many years, Michigan City has had some bad summers. I've seen some really bad things down at the beach. Seen full-out riots in Michigan City, and that's not an acceptable place. Hopefully people's memories are short, and we stop talking about these things happening in Michigan City and the gas price, because people don't understand this gas price and relieving the gas tax next year. You think your roads are bad? Wait till happen next year. They're either going to have to double your gas tax, or you're not getting your roads paved, because that's where our money comes from.
I want to change the subject somewhat a little bit, but it fluffs into this concept. When I was at the last city council meeting, again, when I sit down, nobody sits around me. I don't know why, but you can see a whole vacated area. But 4 individuals walked in front of me and sat down alongside of me. One had a brace on her arm. She was on disability. These 4 individuals was from the Michigan City Fire Department. And a contractual obligation. I believe in a contractual obligation between the fire department and the city of Michigan City. I believe the city violated a existing contractual obligation in regards to when an individual is on disability, he or she continues to get their salary, except it was eliminated by the current mayor. If you're a Michigan City fireman, and if you get injured on the job, rather than going on to a light duty, you're SOL. Okay, so you've got individuals on limited income. Maybe they have maybe it's a one-parent family. Who knows what it is? But the fire department deserves the members who go on disability that is attributed to their job. Okay, there has to be certain parameters. If you get disabled in your job, performing on behalf of firemen for the city of Michigan City, you are entitled to disability payments. But if you get injured, maybe playing softball, or maybe you fell off of a boat or jumped off of a bridge that is un-job related, you're going to have to live with the consequences. What we have right now is the mayor lay down an edict that this concept is null and void within the city of Michigan City and pertaining to the fire department. I would think that there would be room for compromise. Again, I don't know all of the details why this individual was injured, but I believe she was pregnant. She just had a baby. They don't divulge all of the details there, but if you see the fire trucks driving the city streets, which, you know, you see them on the streets on a daily basis, I don't think they should be wasting the rubber on the tires as much as I see. But there is, when you have a workforce that you depend on for your tax base, for your state rating, state insurance rating,
which affects our insurance.
you don't piss these people off. And there is still, I believe it's right now a 2-year period of contractual obligations going on.
Yeah, they don't have a contract.
They don't have a contract
So
yet.
if our police and fire don't have a contract, how enthusiastic do you think they are going to be to help us out in this town for a good summer?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably not very enthusiastic. They'll do their job. I guarantee you they'll do their job to their best ability. But they're not going to be enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, there are things out there that, you know, that I have seen over the years that, you know, I question why the fire department is doing this and that. But for the overall efficiency of a community moving forward, you need a viable police department. You need a viable park department. You need a viable fire department. In order to be a city under the state of Indiana's umbrella of the designation of a city of a second class, there has to be basic city services are mandated to be provided to the citizens. That's why we pay taxes. Well, one of those is fire and police, water and sanitation, and so on. And when you have the edict came down from the mayor, like I say, I don't know all the details, but when you have that situation apply to a single female firefighter, that brings to mind questions. She works for the city, and maybe she extended all of her benefits or so on. You know, maybe she doesn't have any benefits left. She wants to go on disability, but yeah, she can go on disability, but she don't get any compensation.
Yeah, it's way reduced, and I don't know if they get Michigan City's health insurance, because folks, Michigan City's health insurance is probably the best they're out there, and it's very expensive. When I remember they talked about it, you're talking like $13,000 to $15,000 per person Michigan City pays for their employees' health insurance. It's a lot of money. Very good stuff.
How do we know this? I read the internet. I glean, I read a lot, I Google a lot.
You got to go down the comment sections too.
That's right.
You're going to find stuff in the comment sections that even the internet article writers are not going to write about.
But I have, to a certain extent, avoided personal individual comments. You can start and you can read so much, the first line or two, and you can find out whether it's a gripe session or whether it's a valid comment.
That'd be social media, and I don't spend much time on social media.
No. But again, I think over this last hour, whether you're still out there or not, maybe you fell asleep in your lounge chair, maybe you went out to get a cup of coffee and you forgot that the TV was on. The fact of the matter is, Memorial Day is the first official day of summer. And again, we have a tourist base that's coming to the community, and the police department, I believe, is going to be punching in a lot of overtime you know, to keep this city healthy. And metal detectors should not be loaned out by the sheriff's department to the school city. That is pathetic. That is pathetic. And we have the money to pay for these metal detectors. You said $14,000?
Well, yeah, it's double the amount of the best metal detector you can get.
Maybe we could rent metal detectors for the 9 weeks, for the 9 months that the school city is in place. Maybe some of the money from the redevelopment commission, rather than spending $39 million on SOLA with no results, maybe they could rent some metal detectors.
And maybe they could lease them, because metal detectors take upkeep and maintenance, so maybe it's better off to lease it
Sure.
and let somebody else take care of it.
But
We
to
just
continue, continue to kick the can down the road, according to Skylar York, that is pathetic.
Again, I'll say, you thought about a return on investment, how's that looking now? Doesn't look like it was a very good return on investment by not helping the school out. I think we're all in the soup now, and it's not looking good.
I remember one time I talked to Skylar York, and I said, you know, you're cheating the school city. You're cheating the school city, and I can prove it. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. I said, according to law, at that particular time, it spelled out the 15% contribution from the TIF district if it's requested. Oh, no. I don't believe Skylar York reads the law. And in this release, you will see the law.
Yeah, an up and coming, that's an up and coming show. Stay tuned, because there's some very interesting stuff in that report, and we're going to find out if Michigan City, now quickly, you've done good. You got the city to make a report about the stormwater, so that's one step.
Well, again, this issue I've been on for the last 54 years, okay? When I was on the city council, I brought this issue up because the property that I owned had water in my basement every time we had a torrential downpour. I talked about it back then. I brought it to the city sanitary district's attention, and it went on deaf ears. I authorized an amendment to establishing one of the first enterprise zones in the city of Michigan City back 50-some years ago that talked about economic development, that addressed, when I ran for city council, that addressed the issue of water on the west side. And the water on the west side today is the same as it was 50-some years ago when I brought it to the attention of the public. I'm just saying, if you see something, say something, but you better have information to back up what you're saying, and I do. And it's about time that some of these rectal orifices in this community accept what I'm saying and put my concept to use. When you have the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Ward residents paying a minimum of $10, according to the paperwork I got, paying a minimum of $10 for ditch cleaning, and they are on the west side, and all of that ditch cleaning money is going to the east side for economic development. We're getting down to the last minute.
Read us out.
I'm just saying, somebody better wake up. And I didn't even have to take a pill today to get through this program. I want to thank everybody for watching. Your input as to improvements or criticism of this program is greatly appreciated. Please contact, I can't even read my speech now. Please contact your show's by co-producers, Tony Hendricks, Dave Bila, or Bob Pollock with your comments. You can email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com, Dave at djbila1@hotmail.com, or Tony at emailhem@yahoo.com, or you may direct your ideas for any future shows to our one and only staff writer, Sarah Bellum. Showing of our program will be Saturday morning, 10 a.m., and again Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on Channel 99. In fact, I watched Channel 99, and they put a preview of shows, and we were leading the list, and the showing of our program was 4:30 in the morning. Thank you, Tony. You may also enjoy watching us on our YouTube channel, Navigate News and Views. If you want documentation to discredit me, go to our YouTube channel, and you will see that everything I've said over the last, how long we've been on the YouTube channel? A couple years now?
A couple years.
I think I've been pretty consistent in what I'm talking about. The community has to get their posterior out of their posterior and take a new attitude. Thank everybody for watching, and make it a good day.